Hello students, today I am going to discuss about ANOVA one-way classification. ANOVA one-way classification. First, let me tell you about analysis of variance. When a group is drawn from population, we say suppose small n is less than 30, we can test small sample, right? Less than 30 means small sample, remember, no? So it will be, we can go for t-test for mean or t-test for difference of mean. If it is single mean means one mean you will get. If it is difference of mean means two mean you are getting. So if there is a situation more than two or more than two mean means we go for analysis of variance. So in this analysis of variance you have one-way classification and two-way classification. If it is one-way classification, the total experimental area is influenced due to one factor. If it is two-way classification, the total experimental area is influenced due to two factors. So in this video I am discussing about one way classification. So for one way classification, when you get the question one way classification, this is the way of writing the answer. First definition, then layout, followed by assumption, null hypothesis, sum of squares, degrees of freedom, mean sum of square, then ANOVA table, followed by last one conclusion. So the first thing is you have to write definition. Definition, just now I told you, no, one way classification definition is total experimental area is influenced due to one factor, right? Then the next is layout. The layout you will write it as like this, one way classification layout. Let us suppose that n observations xij of a random variable. For I you will write I is equal to 1 to k, and for j it is j is equal to 1 to ni. That means summation I is equal to 1 to k and summation j is equal to 1 to ni of the random variable x are grouped into k classes of sizes n1 into so on till nk respectively as given below. So here you're writing row wise 1, 2, 3 so on till k, column wise 1, 2, 3 so on till ni. Then total and mean. For x 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3 so on till 1 ni, you will write here as number of rows is equal to k. Just remember the students, if you are writing x here, it will be row wise 2 and column wise 2. Like if you are writing this xk, it is row wise k and column wise j. Just write in that form. Then total is r1 r2 because you are doing the total of rows, no, r1 r2. Then mean is x1 dot bar, x2 dot bar. Suppose, as I told you, one way classification, it is influenced due to one factor. So one factor, either it will be row wise or else it will be column wise. If you are getting column wise means you will get the total and the mean here downwards. So it will be c1 c2 so on, and you will get mean as x dot 1 bar, then x dot 2 bar, like that. Either the total of row and mean, you will get row total and mean, or else column total and mean. Then number of rows is equal to k, you are writing, just you are defining whatever you wrote, x1 dot x2 dot, it is nothing but called as means. Then the model of one way classification is xij is equal to mu plus alpha I plus epsilon ij. The model of two way classification is xij is equal to mu plus alpha I plus beta j plus epsilon ij. But here in this video I am discussing one way only. So one mu plus alpha I plus epsilon ij, you just think of it. So where xij is the observation due to jth column of ith row. For I is equal to 1 to k row wise, and for j is equal to 1 to ni column wise. Then after this you will write mu is equal to general mean, alpha is equal to effect due to ith row, epsilon ij is equal to effect due to error from jth column of ith row. So epsilon is the error, just remember. So next is assumptions. We discussed definition, then layout, then now we are discussing assumptions. The three assumptions are all the observations are xij are independent in nature, effects Very important students, in this semester assumptions you will get all, in almost in every question you get assumption, and this three assumptions are only there. So these three assumptions are only there, it is same. So here all observations are independent in nature, differential effects are additive in nature, and epsilon ij are identically independent. So now here null hypothesis for h naught is equal to mu1 mu2 so on till mu k, then alpha 1 alpha 2 so on till alpha k is equal to 0. For mu1 mu2 it is mu, you can say. So just remember this one students, it is summation I is equal to 1 to k alpha I is equal to 0. In the next in this discussion further we are going to discuss this one important point, remember. Then estimating the parameters, xij is equal to mu plus alpha I plus epsilon ij. This one we are denoting as equation 1, this one as star. Then here it is, you can write epsilon ij is equal to xij minus mu minus alpha. We have a formula E is equal to summation epsilon ij square. So this epsilon ij square is nothing but xij minus mu minus alpha I. So you will write here. After this, you can, applying the principle of maxima and minima, set the partial deviation dou E by dou mu is equal to 0. Then if you differentiate this with respect to mu, it will be 2 the summation xij minus mu minus alpha I power 2 minus 1. The coefficient of mu is minus 1. So here you got this coefficient of mu minus 1 is equal to 0. Then divide both side by minus 2. You will be left with summation ij xij minus mu minus alpha is equal to 0. Then substitute the summation inside xij, summation of summation xij, then summation of ij mu, then summation of alpha ij. Because you got summation of alpha I is equal to 0 from star, this one just now I told, no, remember Balki. So it is summation of alpha I is equal to 0. Here it is summation of alpha I is equal to 0. Sigma xij minus n mu is equal to 0. Then you can write mu is equal to sigma xij by n, which is nothing but mu cap is equal to x dot bar. This equal to x dot bar. Then if you consider dou E by dou alpha I. First I differentiated with dou E by dou mu. Now I am differentiating it by dou E by dou alpha I. So the differentiation will look like this one. You will get sigma of j xij minus mu minus alpha I is equal to 0. Then sigma xij, sigma mu, sigma alpha I. Because you don't have any I and j to mu, we'll remove the summation, right? Summation of what is j is equal to 1 to ni, no? So you will just left with ni. J is equal to 1 to ni, no? You will be just left with ni. And this one. I and j both are there, so xij you can write. So now divide throughout by ni. This ni and ni. So 1 by ni is equal to 1 by ni summation xij minus mu minus alpha is equal to 0. Alpha is equal to this one, you get it to right hand side, you will get the answer. Then just write mu, in place of mu you can write x bar dot, no, this one. And in place of 1 by n summation xij you can write it as xi dot bar, this one. So you are writing alpha I is equal to xi dot bar, xi dot bar minus, in place of mu it is x bar dot. Now epsilon is equal to xij minus mu minus alpha I, right? So you are writing xij minus mu and minus alpha I here. Just cancel this and this. In place of mu, you are writing this one x bar dot, then minus of this and minus of x bar dot. Cancel it, you will get epsilon value also. That means you got the value of mu and you got the value of alpha I and you got the value of xij. Now put it in the main formula. Xij is equal to mu plus alpha I plus epsilon ij. You are writing here mu plus alpha I values and epsilon ij values. This x bar dot dot, put it to the left hand side, you will get the value below. This value is below. Then squaring and summing on both sides. When you square this, you will get xij minus x bar dot dot square. Summation summation. When you square this one, it will be a square plus b square plus 2ab. You will get here the cross product terms will vanish. This term will vanish. You will be left with this. And remember students, when I am putting summation, double summation here, there is no use of summation I and summation j. No, there is only xi factor here. So if I want to remove j summation, j is nothing but it is I is equal to 1 to ni. So I will write, remove that summation and I'll write ni here with xi dot bar minus x bar dot dot bar dot square is equal to this one. Then after that, this is nothing but total sum of square, this is nothing but row sum of square, this is nothing but row sum of square error. So we will write st square is equal to sr square and se square. So we can say it as total sum of square between treatment sum of square and within treatment sum of square. This is sum of square row is between treatment sum of square and sum of square error is within treatment sum of square. Then degrees of freedom is total degrees of freedom is equal to n minus 1 and row degrees of freedom is k minus 1. Error degrees of freedom is total minus row. It is capital N minus 1 and k plus minus of k minus 1. You will write capital N minus 1 minus k. So now mean sum of square is sum of square by degrees of freedom. If you are doing mean sum of square of row, it will be sum of square row by row degrees of freedom. If you are doing mean sum of square of error, it will sum of square error by error degrees of freedom. It is nothing but this one, students. Mean sum of square row by sum of square degrees of freedom row wise. If it is mean sum of square error, it is sum of square error by sum of square error degrees of freedom. Here we have written these values here, this one and this one. After that, f ratio is nothing but sum of square row by sum of square error. That means mean sum of square row by mean sum of square error. So it will follow f distribution with k minus 1 and n minus k degrees of freedom at alpha percent. Now ANOVA table. ANOVA table, sum of source of variation, degrees of freedom, sum of square, mean sum of square and f ratio. You will write the table like this. Then row values you got, degrees of freedom, sum of square, whatever you got in this lecture, whatever answers you got, you will write here. See, sum of square row divided by k minus 1, here this one. Then sum of square error divided by n minus k, it will come here. Then sum of square row, mean sum of square row by mean sum of square error, it will come here. Then in the conclusion, fcal versus ftab. This value is we will search in table, f table. So if that value, if fcal is less than ftab, we will accept h naught, otherwise reject. And one more important thing I want to discuss, between treatment sum of square and within treatment sum of square. Suppose you have two groups. If you are testing IQ of girls and boys, if you are testing IQ of girls and boys, we will say between treatment sum of square. If you are testing IQ between only within girls and only within boys, what is the difference? It is within treatment sum of square. Are you understanding? If I am testing among two different groups, it will be called as between treatment sum of square. If I am testing within one group only, I will call it as within treatment sum of square. Thank you for listening to my lecture.